Crosstrek's here, and today I'm going to teach you how to fix the long crank on your Subaru. And what this problem is a lot of Subarus, especially the Imprezas and Crosstreks, is they'll have a really long crank time when you go to start your car. So when you push the key to the on position, it will turn over and crank for a long time, and oftentimes it'll crank so long that you'll stop and have to retry starting the car, and almost always it will start on the second time that you attempt to start it. And this is a pretty common issue on these cars and a lot of the Subaru models as well. And there is a technical service bulletin which addresses this problem on the earlier Crosstreks. I believe it's only for the 2014 model year, but almost all of them have this issue at some point or another. I'm going to show you a few quick things you can do to try and fix the problem on your own before you may need to take it to an independent shop or dealer to get it fixed. So what is the root cause of this problem? And the root cause is very simple. The car isn't putting enough fuel into the cylinders when it goes to start. And it's very noticeable, especially on warm days when your car is warmed up fully. So let's say you go on a drive, your car gets fully warmed up, you stop at a store, you go in to get something really quickly, come back out, you go to start your car. This is when it's going to happen most frequently. And the issue is when your motor is very warm, the fuel will evaporate quicker, and so it needs even more fuel for it to start and ignite. If your spark plugs are starting to get towards the end of their life, getting close to 100,000 miles, for example, and you've never changed them, that is something that can help with the starting issue. Another common problem is the battery. If your battery is starting to get a little bit weaker, if it's 5, 6, 7 years old, it's probably time to get a new one anyways. And I noticed that when I switched my battery and my spark plugs, that fixed the problem almost completely. It's almost completely gone. I've heard some people mention it could be your fuel pump starting to go out, and that's much less likely to be the cause. It could be that, but that is also something that's a little bit more in depth to figure out, because you're going to need to put a pressure sensor up to the fuel lines to check if it's giving enough pressure. And it's a pretty messy job, so that might be something you want a dealer or an independent mechanic to do. So that would be one of the last things I would try to do to fix this problem. It could also be something like your fuel injector starting to get clogged up, which is much less likely, or also your starter starting to go bad. But again, those are much less likely to be the cause of the problem. And so what I would do is I would check to see if your spark plugs are getting towards the end of their life first, and if your battery is getting towards the end of its life. If those two things need to be done, I would recommend doing them and see if that fixes the problem. If not, you might need to look into it a little further. But that is the most common reason for the long cranking. The other thing I'll say too is that the long crank isn't really that big of a deal as long as your car still starts. I have some other really common fixes on my channel for these cars, like if you get a lot of rear end noise, I have a video for that, and I have one for if your key gets stuck in the ignition and it won't come out when you get into park, which I'll show you right here. So again, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this helpful.